next part of this animation style, we've jumped ahead with the hands, but here we're coming back to the skeletal structure. Again, with the sketch that they show, I've gone a little ahead with this. It's still the circular part for the head, and the gesture, again, trying to be with the spine. So if I bring this line down, kind of comes out to the tail section. And they're looking at a skeletal structure, so it's just like a stick figure, trying to find where the shoulders or the throat and the neck would be. A little line here to show a circle, little dot there for the shoulders. And following the same gesture line, trying to find a location for the hips. And you'll notice that these do have a little bit of angle to them, so it does help with the perspective. If it's just horizontal, inverted left or right will help you. And then these lines for the feet, if you can kind of see where this would taper down and almost go into the heel of this character, and it just makes this circular shape for the foot. Now it doesn't matter how many circles you put again, because if you do draw over it, you might shade in and just lose all of that, so it's not too imperative that you keep it. But then same idea, the elbow, the forearm, and the tricep, just like on human anatomy, you're trying to look for some similarities. So this kind of a graceful curve, this one kind of elevating around the side there, and then a foreshortened, meaning that it's the hand is covering the elbow, so it's coming straight out at you. And there's just a little bit of that happening here. But if you do, you can see this one, they don't have too much indication of an elbow, but they do with the hand. And again, it's just circulars, whether it's going to be a kind of simulate the cartoon hand or a cat hand. They put the same idea for the glove that's there. So you do kind of see the buildup of there from the illustration. And then taking a look at it again, the rest of it, as far as the skeletal piece, is trying to put together the the body. So they just have a simple shape already drawn, but here's the pelvis. Here's kind of the rib cage, and then if you do connect them, just like a template, there's two elliptical shapes with the tangent connected. And then once it looks pretty stilted or straight, you can always follow it along with the flow of the back of the spine. So it's a little bit rounded off and exaggerate a little bit more. So whether you're looking at these as models or coming up with your own, that's what you're trying to model it after. And the same idea, trying to fill out the rest of the legs, for example. So this has a little maybe longer at the top, shorter at the bottom. So here's another option to put in an elliptical shape, just connecting them with the ovals, and that builds that up pretty quickly. Now whether it's right or wrong, it's just giving you something to look at to base off your next move there. Same with the arms. There is a shoulder, so you could even put a circle for that if you wish. They just show the outer edges, but it's easier to build it up with a circular shape, just to get it all fleshed out, so to speak. And the neck kind of coming down if it's too high. They don't really show too much of that, but there you have it. And then it's just a matter of looking at some of the details. So if you started with again with the head, still going back to that basic formula for the style of drawing. Here's the center line. Here's the eye line, so to speak. Here's the oval shapes. And even if you put one in for the nose, it's going to stay there, but the cheeks are a little bit smaller in this type of character, so they're two circular pieces. And the inversion, if you have those two circular pieces, that triangle shape that's left over, if you can imagine that being the nose, placed right in there. And based off of that, the side cheeks, you can see the one closest to you as it wraps around going the other side. It's hidden. Okay. They do have this over circular shape that kind of echoes all the way around the eye itself. And again, going to put some more detail in the character's eyes, so just kind of building that up with the eyebrows. So this is tapered off. For the ears itself, just kind of giving us a side angle. It's almost like a triangular shape on the one side, and that makes it just that much easier to draw. Just arching these three triangle shapes to that piece. Other side you can't see. Just kind of sketch it in there and builds that piece up. and all this extra fur. When you get to the lower part of the mouth, you have the front section here, cheeks on the other side, and it's hard to see all the details, so you're going to have to kind of ad-lib to yourself here. But again, it's a hinge, so if you just drew it like a rectangular hinge, but then it's rounded off, and that's what keeps the mouth open. It has a little bit of the cat teeth showing up on the top and a little bit of the tongue, so you can add to it some of your own style there. And then it's just a matter of coming down to the rest of the body, trying to flesh that piece out. Think of the anatomy that's there. Here's the part for the neck. It's got a little skinny neck there. Again, you can find the center line for this to help you locate everything that's there. And I'll just kind of simply add some of this in here. The hands are round, they have the fingers kind of sausagey circle things on there. I'm still plotting that with the wrist. Keep that up there. Same with this hand. Circular sections there. You can kind of see the shoulders. So traditionally you kind of work top down, but you can always start at working out the whole drawing as quickly as you can. Here's the foreshortened part, so I'm going to shorten this elbow there. And again, started off with those elliptical shapes. Here's a curve right in there to bring the hip around. Got this circular centerpiece for the fur. And again, moving the foot up just a little bit. Kind of think of almost like a rectangular shape with a pivot, like a triangular piece. Kind of a little bit more of the anatomy. Kind of build that up. So again, kind of gone over it one step. I think it's time now I can go back in with the heavier line, a little bit more of the detail. Let's see what I come up with here. So I might just start here. Remember let me get it on this page here, move this up. So something like the foot has the claw coming out of it. Thin and thick line coming in there. Building that up. Here's a cylindrical shape. Cat fur coming down. That section. And then same with the hands, kind of see the overall shape there. I'm going to cut this off a little bit more for the foreshortened part. Again, the underside of the arm, just going to make it a thicker line. And that's pretty much the body. The only thing missing is this little section here. Not like that. Now just concentrate a little bit on the head here. And again, you're trying to fix the mouth part. And then a little bit of the fur. And once you get the form done, you can backtrack a little bit. Incorporate a little bit of shading. See the eyebrows in there. You have a little bit of the section here. Take a little bit of shadow. Again, just find that shadow. We might try some of these in pen. So again, just kind of basing it off of the initial skeletal structure.